What's up, y'all? Cannon Hotep back at it again with another one. Back at it again with another one. I gotta figure out how to change the title on Kick without having to log in the fucking Kick and change the title. I gotta figure that shit out. Cause Kick won't change when I use Prism. Kick won't change when I use Prism. Waiting for a few people to get in. One in the chat if y'all can hear me good. One in the chat if everything is copacetic, y'all can hear me. I don't know where my earbuds went. What's up, Noel? What's the deal, sir? So there we go. We know that's working, right? Excuse me. This Prism app pretty alright. Not mad at it. What's up, Steph? Steph in the building. What's going on, Josh? What's the deal? Move that up a little bit so I can see that better. There we go. What's the deal? Hold on real quick. Move this up a little bit too. Boom. There we go. There we go. There we go. That worked. You in the gym? I hear that. You get my black ass in the gym. Just waiting for a couple people to get in. I know we got Noel over there on Kick. Shit, wow. So we touched on it last night. I don't know why HJ couldn't go to my stream. I don't know what was going on. You know how YouTube get. YouTube be fucking up. Anyway, we were talking about this on my stream last night, right? So, for those of you who don't know, there was a track meet in Frisco, Texas. You know how track meets are. There's a bunch of schools there. Each school has their own little section they sit in. And, and they compete. What's up, Rob? Rob in the building. And they compete, right? What's up, Haran? So, the story goes, the kid Austin Metcalf, the one that got killed, the one that got stabbed, went to a school called Memorial High School. They went and sat in their little area under their little tent, right? They went and sat in their little team tent. And the kid Karmelo Anthony was sitting under their tent. And the way the story goes is that Karmelo Anthony started talking shit. And the kid Austin was like, yo, who are you? And the kid replies allegedly, I'm Mello. Like, nigga, you don't know who I am? I'm Mello. So, the kid Austin allegedly goes, hey, yo, you need to go sit with your team, yo. Get out of here. So Mello go, make me. Right? And we all know how that shit be. Right? Make me. And I'm sitting there like, that's fighting words. Right? So Austin get up, grab yo by the book bag. And when he grabbed yo by the book bag, Karmelo allegedly pulls out a knife. Not even allegedly, because the kid came out and said, yeah, I ain't alleged. I did that shit. That's what he said. That's what this kid Karmelo said. When the kid Austin grabbed him by the book bag, Mello pulled out a knife and stabbed this kid. So we got an altercation. We got words going back and forth that ultimately turned into a fucking homicide at a school track meet. Police came and they arrested Karmelo Anthony. And he said he did that shit, but he said that he was in self-defense. He said he did it in self-defense. Now, we're going to talk about that. Now, I talked about this last night, okay? But I was thinking about it, right? This kid saying he did it in self-defense. And I broke down the legalities behind it, right? I'm not looking at race. I'm not looking at none of that shit. I'm looking at a pure legal standpoint, right? Was Karmelo the aggressor? Turn on the do not disturb. I'm sorry, y'all. One in the chat if y'all can still hear me. One in the chat if y'all can still hear me. So it begs the question. All right, cool. So it begs the question: was Karmelo the aggressor? Now, me personally, it's like, why does kid have a knife readily available in his pocket, right? It wasn't, from my opinion and me looking at it, if the kid had him by the book bag, that means that Karmelo had the knife in his pocket at the school track meet. Why you got the knife in your pocket at the school track meet? That's just one thing I'm thinking about, right? Why you got a knife at a track meet or whatever, right? Like I said yesterday, I know some people that like used to come to school. They had a glizzy on them, or they had a knife on them because of where they lived at or what they could possibly come in, because some people in my school was into some crazy shit outside of school, so they were always on the head on the swivel. Anyway, so kid stabs him in the chest. Austin dies in the arms of his twin brother. Now, like I said, was he the aggressor? So let's look at a purely legal standpoint. Let's look at this as purely just law, okay? Now, I'm not a lawyer or anything like that, but I do carry a firearm. I do carry a gun on me every day. And when you get your gun permit, you need to know the laws and how you need to operate inside the law when it comes. Oh, there they go right there. Hold on. I'll be right here in my damn office. As y'all can see, like I said, I'm a responsible gun owner. Every time my stream is over, them guns go back in the safe. They go back in the safe. They go back in the safe. All right, so y'all can still hear me, right? One in the chat, y'all can still hear me, right? All right, so according to the story, Karmelo was sitting in their area. Karmelo was sitting under their team's tent. Okay? So that tells me that he was somewhere where he didn't belong, I guess you would say. He was somewhere he didn't belong. He wasn't with his team. Karmelo went to a school called Independence. Was it Independence or Centennial? Whatever. He didn't go to that school. Okay? He didn't go to that school. So he's sitting in a spot that he don't even belong sitting in. According to witnesses, Karmelo was talking shit to these kids, and the one kid stood up and spoke up. He's like, "Hey, yo, who is you?" And he's like, "I'm Mello." He's like, "Well, Mello, you don't even belong over here, yo. Go back with your team, right?" So he said, "Make me." Like I said, we all say they fighting words. So Austin get up. He's like, "All right, whatever. I'm about that smoke." And then Karmelo stabs him in the chest after Austin grabs him by the book bag. Now, as far as everybody knows, as far as all of the information that's coming out so far, that was the only altercation. No other teammates jumped in or none of that, right? It was just between them two. Now, this is where I say, and I said this last night, I think Karmelo was the aggressor. He was where he didn't belong. He was instigating and agitating. He was instigating a fight. Talking shit to the kids in their area. He wasn't with his team. He was in there under their tent. Instigating and agitating. That's called being the aggressor. Whether it's words or physical, that's called being the aggressor. Okay, you don't have to put your hands on somebody to be the aggressor. you could be instigating the fight and be the aggressor. Okay, that's what they tell us when we get our gun permits. Yo, even you sitting there running your mouth back and forth at these people, that's you instigating the fight. So if the shit lead to deadly force because you were sitting there antagonizing, you therefore were you were responsible for what happened. So we got Karmelo sitting there antagonizing, right? He's in a spot he do not belong in. They asked him to leave. He said, make me leave, which means he wanted some smoke. He stabs this kid. Any court of law is going to look at that as Karmelo being the aggressor. He is not the victim in any way, shape, form, or fashion, in my opinion. From what I'm looking at, from what came out, he wanted that smoke. He went over there antagonizing on purpose. Now, I'm not saying he went over there to antagonize to stab somebody. Like I said last night, you know how it is when you're in high school. When you're in high school, you do dumb shit. Like when we played football, we had our rivals, right? We would go to basketball games and sit there and antagonize the other basketball players or the other football players. We went to other teams' homecoming talking shit. We got in fucking fist fights. You know what I mean? Outside of other schools because we was over there talking shit and antagonizing. That's just what it is. That's how it be. I told y'all a story last night of a dude that went to one of the rival schools. I wasn't, that's the one night I didn't go. And I'm happy I didn't go. But my school or my team was up at Randallstown High School. Milford Mill was up at Randallstown High School. I believe it was a basketball game. And everybody met in the parking lot talking shit. Next thing you know, niggas get to swinging. It's a fight between three different teams. But one particular guy ended up stabbing up one of the kids from another team. Killed him. And I think he's still in jail to this day. His ass went to jail for murder. But this shit happens. Now, with that being said, him having that knife on him, in his pocket, ready to rock and roll, it wasn't like he had to go to his backpack and get it. Because he didn't. It was already ready to go. So it makes me wonder, and it's going to make any prosecutor wonder, did you go over there with ill intent? Did you go over there with malice, intending to do that? Was this premeditated? They're going to wonder that. They're going to wonder that. Exactly. What was his original intent? 2, you got to look at the force continuum. Okay. Now, again, anybody who carries a gun or has been through gun permit classes and all that other stuff, you know what force continuum is. Okay. Use of force continuum. Use of force continuum is basically like, does this situation justify me pulling my gun or my weapon? Because it don't got to be a gun and neutralizing this threat. In this case, it was a knife. Now, if the story is the way the story goes and that they asked him to leave, he said, make me, which is fighting words, which is him welcoming that danger, right? Him not retreating, him not going back, going back to his side or whatever. He said, make me, right? If that's the case, and they got the scuffling, and in this case, it's just Austin grabbing him by the book bag, like, yo, let's fucking go. Did that justify him pulling his knife and stabbing him? And again, court of law, in my opinion, court of law is going to look at that like, no, that's not justified. That is not a justifiable use of force continuum because Austin was unarmed. Now, if Austin and the rest of his track team proceeded to whoop his ass and he pulled the knife out and defended himself in fear for his life, whether he had the knife there legally or not, you can't, he doesn't have to forfeit his life. He can defend himself and defend his life, right? But that's not the case, allegedly. Allegedly, it was just between him and Austin, and he stabbed Austin. So, like I said, let's recap the use of force continuum. He is not on his side. Him being the victim is not on his side because he antagonized from start to finish. And again, it don't have to be physical. It can be verbal. It can be verbal. Now, could Austin have went and got a coach or something like that and say, hey, yo, this dude bothering us, can you get him out of here? Yeah, he probably could have did that. Probably would have been the best idea. But it seemed like at that point it was just a pissing match. But instead of shooting the fade with Austin, he stabbed him. And then he wanted to claim self-defense in that. I don't think he have a I don't think he has a what's the word? I don't think he has any validity for self-defense. And I think this kid is in a lot of trouble. Now this story is tragic all the way around. This story is tragic all the way around. But see, that's the thing when Win, Lose, or Rug. Even if he had the backpack on, which allegedly he had the backpack on, the use of force continuum is not on his side. You can't level up the force. You can't level up the force unless your life is legitimately in danger. So Austin would have had to been beating the shit out of him to the point where he might go unconscious for him to pull a weapon and equalize it. Him just grabbing his backpack does not justify stabbing him. Just like if I had my gun on me and I get into a fucking altercation with somebody, or we got a screaming match going on and the dude shoves me. He pushes me. He shoves me in the chest as hard as he can. I can't grab my gun and shoot him. They're going to be like, he pushed you? And you shot him? Because he pushed you? Did he have a weapon? No, sir. The use of force continuum is not on the side. It's a lot of things that's gotta balance them scales for this to be a justifiable homicide, we'll call it, or acting in self-defense. This was not acting in self-defense. It was not acting in self-defense. Now, if Karmelo was sitting in a neutral area, just chilling, and they came up to him and started talking shit to him and bullying him around and all this other shit, and he's surrounded by a team of people that's just fucking with him, then yeah, you could say I feared for my life. All these guys were surrounding me. They was talking shit. They was shoving me and pushing me. I thought they were going to do something bad to me. And I pulled out my knife and I started to defend myself. But that's not what happened. That's not what happened. The end didn't justify the means. Him pulling a knife out stabbing that kid is not justified because the kid had no weapon. The kid just grabbed him by the backpack. You shoot the fade. And a lot of these kids nowadays don't want to shoot the fade. They immediately want to go to shooting and stabbing motherfuckers. You know, Bruce G said it happened in Florida. Dude got away. Now, does Texas have a stand your ground law? You know what I mean? Does Texas have a stand your ground law? I know Florida does. You know what I mean? You know, it's just, it's, I think this kid screwed himself. And like I said, I'm not looking at this shit, you know, I'm looking at this shit as a tragedy that should have never happened in the first place. This is a tragedy that should have never happened in the first place. I don't know this kid, Karmelo. You're going to have a bunch of conservatives online saying, oh, but this kid was a menace. This kid is a thug. This kid, blah, blah. You already know how it's going to go. I'm looking at this shit as like, yo, this is tragic. This shit should have never happened. But you got so many people out here, they just want to, they immediately go to fucking weapons. They don't want to throw them fists. And that's how a court's going to look at it. They're going to look at that shit like, hey, yo, nah. He stabbed this kid. This kid was unarmed. Okay, he put his hands on him. Okay, then you fight, you match force with force. If this kid has no weapon and he just put his hands on him, then you match force with force, which means hands and feet. Now, if Austin had a weapon on him and he had to defend himself from Austin having a weapon on him, then yeah, it's completely justified. If Austin and his teammates was jumping on his ass, then yes, it's justified. But that's not the case. So the self-defense shit don't work. That's just what I think. But then I got to thinking about a story that we covered, I think, 2 years ago. How many of y'all remember the story where the firefighter was at the liquor store and got into it with a dude at the liquor store because he disrespected the clerk? Anybody remember that story? You know, think about that, right? But yeah, do y'all remember that shit? It was a firefighter. Matter of fact, I'll play the video for you. Hold on. Which one is it? I think it's this one here. I like this app, yo. This app is fire. Boom. We're gonna make that a little bigger. Y'all can see that, right?
Federal charges have just been announced in connection to the shooting death of an off-duty firefighter. Prosecutors say Javon Taylor had a gun that was used to kill Anthony Santee on Thursday. He's charged with being a felon in possession of a firearm.
Hold on, that's not the right one. Hold up. I thought that was the right one. Here we go.
Off-duty fire. Anthony Santee was an off-duty firefighter when he was here inside of Liquorland at 40 Highway in Sterling and Independence. And that was about 2 Thursdays ago. Witnesses tell us that a man inside of the Liquorland was insulting a woman there, and Santee stood up for her, and then a fist fight started.
Let it go! Let it go! Stop!
Cell phone video captured some of that fight between 41-year-old Anthony Santee and 23-year-old Javon Taylor.
Bro, what are you doing, bro?
Witnesses tell KMBC the fight may have lasted as long as 10 minutes.
Get up! My kid's in this car! Stop!
Now I'm gonna play the other video for y'all too. I want to know what y'all think.
Ultimately killed Anthony Santee. Now this afternoon, Jackson County Prosecutor's Office made an announcement. I'm going to read directly from it. We grieve with the family and community over this tragic loss of life of Mr. Santee. Missouri law governs this case, specifically self-defense and defense of others, leading us to decline charges after a careful review. Anthony Santee, as I mentioned, was a firefighter. He lived in the Northland. He had a daughter, and he was buried last week. Live in Independence, Rebecca Gannon, KMBC 9 News.
Okay, so I'll play the other video. So, matter of fact, I'll play the other video now, and then we'll recap it.
Federal charges have just been announced in connection to the shooting death of an off-duty firefighter. Prosecutors say Javon Taylor had a gun that was used to kill Anthony Santee on Thursday. He's charged with being a felon in possession of a firearm. KMBC 9's Brian Johnson is joining us live from 40th and Sterling Avenue with new details
listen
on
to
that
this.
shooting. Brian?
Yeah, Kelly, the argument began inside the store. Police say surveillance video shows Javon Taylor exits the store, gets a gun, and goes back in. Then the argument spilled out here on the sidewalk. He lost possession of the gun, and at one point, police say a woman who was with Taylor grabs the gun and fires around at the firefighter. Today, we received photos who knew 41-year-old Anthony Santee. He's the...
All right, so did y'all hear what he said? Did y'all hear what he said? So let's recap. This is what happened in that case. Firefighter's at a liquor store. He's off duty. He's grabbing him some brews or something like that, whatever. There's another dude in the store who's just disrespecting the fuck out of the clerk. Right? It's female. He speaks up for the clerk. The dude gets offended, goes outside to his car and grabs a gun. Brings the gun back into the fucking liquor store. The firefighter proceeds to whoop his ass despite him having the gun in his hand. Now the firefighter is laying down a serious beat down, ground and pound on this nigga, and to the point where he lost his gun. But he's getting his ass whooped by this firefighter. Now if it was me and you pulled a gun out on me, I'm fucking you up. I'm fucking you up. Like putting you in the hospital, fucking you up. because you pulled a fucking gun on me, which tells me you don't give a shit about me or my life. So why should I care about you? Now I gotta put you in the fucking hospital to make sure that you can't shoot me. So the firefighter is whooping his ass. His girlfriend panics. She picks up the gun that the firefighter just disarmed this nigga from and shoots the firefighter in the head. Guess what happened to her? Guess what happened to her? Shorty walked. They didn't even prosecute her. They said that she was acting in defense of herself and others. Is that shit fair? She got no time. None. And the guy only got a charge for felony possession of a firearm because he was a felon in possession of a firearm. That's crazy to me. And it reminded me of this story right here. Now, could that firefighter have minded his business? Yes. He felt the need like, hey, yo, don't talk to Shorty like that. Nigga got in his feelings, went outside and got the blicky, came back in there. Firefighter fucked him up despite him having a gun on him. Now all of a sudden he's the victim. Firefighter get his brains blown out in the fucking parking lot of a liquor store and gets no justice. Now let's look at it in the same. Let's look at this shit with the kid in Texas in the same vein. Karmelo Anthony, the 17-year-old kid from Independence High School, I think they said, or Centennial High School, one of those high schools, was over in Memorial High School's tent antagonizing their track team, talking shit. They said, "Who the fuck is you? I'm Mello. Yo, you need to go. Make me go." Now, could Austin have just went and got a coach? Hey, yo, he fucking with us? Nah. Yeah, he could have. But he didn't. He's like, yo, get the fuck out of here, yo. Because he wasn't scared of yo. He grabs dude by the backpack. Dude pulls out a knife, stabs him. Calls it self-defense. Now, I just ran this whole thing down to you guys about use of force continuum. I just ran this whole thing down to you guys about how he's the aggressor, because that shit can change in an instant. But from what I can see, he was the aggressor all the way through. Now, if he was leaving and Austin grabbed his backpack as he was leaving, then now Austin's the aggressor. Right? All right, I'm going. And he walking away and Austin grabs his backpack. Now Austin's the aggressor. But the minute he said, make me leave, now it's mutual. Now it's a mutual altercation. My question is this. I don't think it was justified. I think that the kid Austin was the fucking aggressor all the way through. However, and I think that courts are going to figure out that he's the aggressor and that shit was, I'm not going to say it was premeditated. They may try to put it on there. But my question is this. With the landscape of shit and the way these prosecutors are out here being really lenient on crime and all of this other stuff, does this kid walk? Does this kid walk? Does this kid get a slap on the wrist? Does this kid get off on justifiable homicide? That makes it worse. So hold on. They saying that the knife was in the bag, is what you're telling me. That makes it worse for the kid Karmelo. Trump's earband just says 60-40 he walks. That makes it worse for Melo. This is why I say that. This kid, man, I can't believe this, y'all. That means that his life was not in immediate danger. He had time to go into his bag and grab the knife. Now, like I said, if it comes out that the team was jumping on his ass, then Melo is justified. If it comes out that he was getting his ass beat by Austin and he went for the knife, then that shit is justified. But if they said Austin grabbed his book bag, but this kid had time to go in his book bag and grab the knife, that don't sound like your life was in immediate danger. It sounds like you was embarrassed and you wanted some get back. That's crazy if that's the case. That's crazy. That means that he went in his book bag with the intentions on stabbing this kid. It's one thing in the heat of the moment he reached in his pocket and did the shit. It's another thing to be able to get into your bag, grab that motherfucker, and go stab this kid. Now you looking at this kid, it was intentional. It was meant to. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. I really want to see. We got to follow up with this story. We got to follow up with this story. I need to see everything as it comes out. Hopefully it doesn't get swept under the rug by the media. Hopefully it stays in the light for a minute. Because I need to know. I need to know, like, everything that went down that all the way up until the stabbing. What happened? What happened? Like I said, I don't care if like, Austin's some racist and he called this nigga a nigga. That's not, that doesn't justify deadly force. I think the defense would have to establish what happened to make Melo come to the wrong section in the first place. That's wild, yo. That shit is wild. Only thing about this chat, I can't like scroll back down and see what y'all said. I'll have to make this chat a little bigger for me to see that. But yeah, it's just a tragic situation all the way around. Austin lost his life. This kid had a lot of life to live. Scholarships, stuff like that, college, kids, all that shit. Same thing with Karmelo. Young 17-year-old kid, a lot of life to live, who may have possibly fucked himself in a snap judgment. I feel bad, y'all. I feel bad about it. But from a legal standpoint, that shit is, I think he's screwed, y'all. At a track meet in the wrong bleachers talking trash. Had to known and ass whooping was on his way, but no fear for your life, because that just doesn't happen until what? Until this. That shit crazy, yo. That shit is crazy. Like I said, we used to do shit like that in high school. We would go and antagonize other teams. We would go to their homecomings, talking shit, or we would see another rival team at another rival team's homecoming, talking shit. Yeah, we gonna fuck y'all up. We gonna wipe the floor with y'all. Nigga, that shit happened all the time. We would see each other at parties, at school parties, talking shit. Like I said, sometimes that shit would lead to a fucking fight. And in one instance, like I told you, it led to a kid getting stabbed. I'm telling you guys, it's crazy. But the saddest part is that these kids don't want to shoot the fade no more. These kids don't want to knuckle up. These kids don't want to knuckle up and throw hands. And most of all, these kids not only don't want to knuckle up, they don't want to take a L. They don't want to take the L. So if you knuckle up and you get whooped, you can't just fucking take that L. Now they gotta come back and get that get back because they took an L. That shit is crazy to me, yo. This was a fight and somebody pulled out a knife. Self-defense, not on the table. Agree on that, yeah. I wonder if there was a height difference. Like, why didn't he get down? I don't know. I mean, the kid Austin looked like a big fucking kid, right? I don't think that that justifies it still. The kid, I ain't gonna lie though, the kid Austin like a big fucking kid. You know what I mean? Like, his brother was towering over his mother, and they twins. His brother looked like he was every bit of like excuse me, allergies. His brother looked like he was every bit of like 200 plus, maybe 6 feet 6'1". His brother looked like he was 200 plus, 6 feet 6'1". So Austin was probably a big nigga. I don't know the stats on Karmelo. I don't know the stats on him. Sorry, guys. Rob said he was 6'2", 225. God damn. That's a big nigga in high school. 17, 6'2", 225. 6'1", 230. That's a big boy. That's a big boy. That's a big boy. But I can't preemptively stab you because you a big nigga and you approaching me. I can't. Can't take an L when people got cell phones out. That's the truth, yo. I know you laughing, but that's right. A lot of these kids don't want to take that L. It's an ego thing. A pissing match turned into a fucking homicide is what happened. Make me move isn't de-escalation, de-escalating the situation. If he had no intention on retreating, can it still be considered self-defense? No, it can't. No. He never tried to retreat, allegedly. No. That's not saying make me is, like I said, is mutual at that point. It wasn't like he was already, you got it, yo. He tried to walk away and Austin grabbed his backpack and snatched the nigga back. Now you got some grounds to be like, yo, no, I was in self-defense. He wouldn't let me leave. Now is he wouldn't let me leave. They surrounded me. They wouldn't let me leave. They wouldn't let me leave. Now, if that's the case, then yeah, now you got some legal grounds for self-defense. Even if he wasn't supposed to have a knife on property. But allegedly, that's not what it was. They asked him to leave, and he said, make me leave. You know? So, I think this kid is screwed, man. I think this kid is screwed. I mean, at manslaughter at the minimum. Manslaughter at the minimum. But I don't think you can make a case for self-defense. Yeah, Noel, the father is, yo. The father is, yo. The father was like, yo, this shit ain't no race thing, so don't make it that. I was like, damn. That's what's up. Now, I don't know if the father was saying that because people were trying to say his son was being racist, or because people were saying because Karmelo black, he was being a YN, or both. But the father, like, this shit was not a race thing. Race had nothing to do with it. Keep that shit out your mouth. And I commend the father for saying that. Right, what'd you say? Great point, Cannon. When I was a kid, I fought a guy that size, what? Oh, that size one time. I had to take the L. Hurt my feelings. But that's just how it goes. Sometimes when fists start swinging. Yeah. 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 Which is another reason why I stayed out of a lot of shit, right? Like, I used to fight, right? But I would only fight if my people was like in trouble. So like if I'm out and I'm with my friends, well, I was with my friends and they start scrapping, I jump in. I'm gonna jump in because that's my people. You feel me? So, but I never picked fights, and I always went out of my way to like try to de-escalate. Cause you know the first thing I used to always hear. Now those of y'all that met me, y'all see that I'm a big nigga, right? Y'all either y'all met me at the Grifties or y'all met me at Hotep Con or whatever. Y'all see that I'm a big nigga, right? Right now I'm 6'1", 290, and it ain't fat, it ain't sloppy, right? So imagine me in high school. I was probably almost the same stats as these kids. My high school career, right? When I was in high school and I was in football, playing football, at my biggest when I was a senior, I was 6 feet, 225. 6 feet, 225, 4% body fat, all muscle. And I was a champion wrestler, #2 in the state. You know what I used to get all the time when niggas would see me? I had to shoot that nigga. I ain't fighting that nigga. I had to shoot that nigga. I had to hit that nigga with a bat or something. I ain't fighting Brandon. That nigga huge. I had to shoot that nigga. I used to get that shit all the time. Not just in school, just out in the streets. Like, how old is it? He what? 17? I had to shoot I had to shoot his big ass. All the time. So what I do, I never antagonized or none of that shit because I knew I would never get a fair fade. They gonna do anything to get the upper hand on me. So I used to always de-escalate or be the first to walk away. Karmelo's family was affluent as fuck. Bro got new cars for his 16th birthday. Oh Lord. So he told me this nigga is one of them. He trying to be hard. He trying to be tough, coming from a fucking a good home. That's crazy. That's just wild. But man, it's just a tragic situation all the way around, y'all. It's a tragic situation all the way around. Feel bad for that kid, man. I feel bad for that kid. Both of them. Both of them. I feel bad for Austin's family. I feel bad for Karmelo and his family. Their son might be going away for a while. But like the way the system is set up, man, it's just weird. Like for example, right? I just thought about this too. So y'all know that the game Drag the Dead, it's got Uncle Hotep in it. David Murdoch did it. The PC game Drag the Dead. His son, we did a stream on it. His son is on. Excuse me, I gotta blow my nose. I need some tissue. 1 second, y'all. Sorry. Damn. His son, David Murdoch's son, is on trial right now for getting shot. For getting shot. It's on my. You'll see it. It's the Curious Case of Aaron Murdoch. It's on my channel. Go back and listen to it. We had potentially criminal law tube. Sean came in, gave his 2 cents on it and everything. You know. But Aaron Murdoch is on trial right now for getting shot. They went to a neutral location to meet up with a guy that they was beefing with because the guy said he wanted to squash it. When they get there, the guy ain't want to squash it. The guy ain't want to squash it. They was getting him there to set him up so he could take a shot at the one guy they was beefing with. Not Aaron, but the guy that said he wanted to squash it. He was setting him up. They get out there, then they get to arguing and shit, right? And matter of fact, it's on the stream. Go check that shit out. We get out there, they arguing and shit. And the kid that called for the truce pulls out a gun and tries to shoot the one guy that's like going back and forth with his homeboy. He misses and hits David's son Aaron in the fucking in the leg. Aaron pulls his gun, which he legally has, right? It's legally his gun. Pulls his gun and fires back in self-defense. That's real self-defense, guys. Fires back in self-defense. But he didn't hit the guy. The guy that shot Aaron also shot his shot his friend. Killed him, I think. Yeah, I think he killed him. Shot him in the chest. It's on the stream. It's crazy. And it looks like this kid, the kid that started it, the kid that shot first, about to get a slap on the wrist. And David's son Aaron is looking at 20 to life for shooting back in self-defense. He didn't hit nobody or none of that shit. He got shot. He just in the background, just there. Got shot, pulls his gun and shoots back in self-defense. Passes out. His homeboy got him in the truck, rushing him to the hospital. And the prosecutors are trying to throw the book at him for defending his life. That's how ass backwards the fucking system is. Like I tell y'all all the time, yo. The real fight happened when after the shooting. The real fight happens after the shooting. Where the fuck are they from? I gotta go back on the channel. I can't remember where David and them from. I wanna say Kansas. I wanna say Kansas City, Kansas. I want to say Kansas City, Kansas. And if that's the case, that's the same fucking state where that girl walked free for shooting that firefighter in the head after her boyfriend pulled a gun on her. I think that's where they're from. I gotta do a, it might be Arkansas. Or is it New Mexico? Nigga, I don't know. It might be New Mexico. It might be New Mexico. Anyway, I gotta do an update because he DM'd me like a couple of weeks ago with some updates. So I need to do a follow-up with him on the channel and see what's going on with his son's case. But yeah, that shit is wild. That shit is wild. But yeah, like you said, 2 lives lost, yo. 2 lives lost. You got the kid, Austin. His life is, you know, his parents got to bury him. And this kid, Karmelo, his family, you know, they may have to go visit him in fucking jail for a crazy snap judgment. For a crazy snap judgment. Feel bad, y'all. But anyway, I just wanted to touch base on that story. I was sitting there thinking about it last night after the stream was over, and I was just like, yo, this kid really might be going to jail for some dumb shit. And I hope y'all saying that this kid was an affluent kid and all of this stuff, it makes it worse because it's just like you got these kids out here that they want to prove themselves. We hard, we tough, we from the streets. Like, nigga, you not from the streets. Like, your parents gave you a good life. Why you wanna be from the streets? Why you wanna be a thug? For what? Your family afforded you opportunities that they probably never had. Now you out here wasting that shit. You just threw your fucking life away in a matter of seconds. You just threw your life away in a matter of seconds. I haven't read I haven't read about it yet. The China response to the reparations. Something came through. Hold on. I had something that came from like Truth, because I usually get like notifications when Trump do some shit. I saw he responded to it, but I haven't seen what it was. But I also just seen that Vietnam is going to take their tariffs down to 0 tariffs on the United States in hopes to make a deal with the United States. And I'll let y'all say, we're going to read it real quick. Hold on, let me go get it real fast. Boom, let's read this. This is from Trump's Truth. Just had a very productive call with Tu Lam, General Secretary of the Communist Party of Vietnam, who told me that Vietnam wants to cut their tariffs down to 0 if they are able to make an agreement with the U.S. I thanked him on behalf of our country and said I look forward to a meeting in the near future. I need a soundboard for the Don DeMarco. I need a soundboard for the Don DeMarco, people. What did we just say last night? What did I just tell y'all last night? Huh? That guy knows. Okay, what's his name? Tu Lam Phu? Tu Lam knows if the United States, if we get into a trade war with the United States over tariffs, it will wreck our economy. That guy knows that if he gets into a trade war with the United States, it will wreck his economy. Trump just put these tariffs in 2 days ago. Now you already got Vietnam bending the knee because they can't afford to fight that fight. What did I tell y'all? We got all the fucking leverage. All the fucking, yeah, exactly. We see a lot of made in Vietnam shit, which that's why Vietnam is over there like, yo, we need to make a fucking deal because the United States buying up all our product. If these niggas stop buying our product, we are done. We are done. So what they do, they came to the table. Hey, yo, Trump, look. We ain't trying to do all that. We don't want no smoke. We don't want no smoke. We don't want no smoke. Look, we're going to cut our tariffs down to 0. Just don't stop buying from us, please. So it looks like the plan is fucking working right now, guys. Like I said, it's going to be a war of attrition. There's going to be a couple of countries that might be able to hold out for a little bit, but it ain't going to be for long. The minute the U.S. stop buying from them, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be trouble, trouble, trouble. Let me see if I can find the Chinese shit. Hold on, y'all. This shit was on my fucking thing. Let's see. What's this? Add, and then we're gonna add this. Y'all like this app. This app is fucking fantastic. All right. So this just came up like 2 minutes ago. It would be a perfect time for Fed Chairman Jerome Powell to cut interest rates. He is always late. But he could now change his image and quickly. Energy prices are down, interest rates are down, inflation is down, even eggs are down 69%, and jobs are up. All within 2 months. A big win for America. Cut interest rates, Jerome, and stop playing politics. Trump calling niggas out. Trump winning right now, y'all, and people can't stand that shit. Trump winning right now, and motherfuckers is sick. And this is all I can find about. I'm gonna do some more research, but this is what I found about China. So Trump saying China played it wrong. They panicked. The one thing they cannot afford to do. And I want to know what the fuck he's talking about. I want to know what he's talking about. Anybody give me the rundown real fast on what Trump talking about? I'm going to look it up, but anybody give me the rundown real fast on what Trump talking about? China played it wrong. They panicked. The one thing they cannot afford to do. So it sounds like he's saying China fucking blinked. Saying they had a fucking stare off and China fucking blinked. Oh, China responded with a 34% reciprocal tariff. So they didn't blink. I always knew China was going to be an issue. So China ain't blinked. China said, China calling that shit. This is a fucking game of Texas Hold'em, huh? This is a goddamn game of Texas Hold'em. So China not blinking. China is going to be a problem, like we all said. We all said China was going to be a problem. China is one of those countries that can afford to hold out. They can play this war. But for how long is the thing? But for how long can China hold out? That's the thing. It's going to be interesting. I'm going to look into it and see what more I find. But right now, all these other countries, you got to see all these other weaker countries start bending the knee. What's up, Don Mega? Yeah, they do. China got a lot of old. They own. I think don't China own like the Waldorf Astoria? I remember there was a rumor that China owned like Yellowstone. China owned a lot. The Chrysler Building. China owns that shit. Yeah, they got. Oh, and China got all of that farmland, like you just said. They got all the farmland near the U.S. fucking army bases, military bases. Yep. China got leverage, y'all. China got leverage. Let's see if Trump can out leverage China though. That's the one place I knew was going to be an issue. Right? 90% of Tesla parts come from China. Oh, shit. What's up, Pop-Up Hotel? Let's not forget China holds all U.S. debt. It's in their interest for the dollar to be powerful. If the U.S. trade position falls, so does their investment. Ooh. Okay. I appreciate that. So we're going to see how this shit go. Let's see if Trump played this shit right, y'all. Let's see if... I need a haircut. I look crazy. Let's see if Donnie T played this shit right. Right now, we winning. Right now, the plan seems to be working. But we're going to find out if the plan is still working, guys. We're going to find out if the plan is still the plan in a few. But salute to Donnie T for all of these wins he's got right now. Anyway, guys, that's all I got for y'all. If you're new, hit the like, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification icon. It'll let you know when I got new content coming out. Share the stream. Let people know we live. You're catching the replay. Leave a comment. Let me know how I'm doing. I can use that constructive criticism. You want to donate to the channel? $ Cannon Hotep on Cash App. Super Chats, Rumble Rants. Always welcome, guys. If it's over on Kick, hit that subscribe button. Cup of coffee a month. You can help one of your favorite struggling streamers over here, guys. Every little bit does go back into the channel, okay? You know what I mean? Appreciate you, Wendy's a Rug. I appreciate you. I love the pushback. I love the dialogue I have with the chat. It's fantastic, guys. Anyway, until next time, it's Cannon Hotep saying, be blessed, stay strapped, don't miss. And don't worry about tomorrow, guys. Tomorrow got enough problems of its own. Worry about today. I'll holler at y'all.